Good evening. Welcome to News 360. We're live from the News Hub at Adesanwe in Accra. We're streaming worldwide on the internet via 3news.com. We're also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Solis Rose Corte.
My name is Isamoni. Coming up now, the headlines for this hour. Stay with us.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxipade.
In the headlines, minority in Parliament to boycott Ghana card registration tomorrow. We will tell you why.
The Director of Police Intelligence and Professional Standards PIPS Bureau, COP Kofi Boakye, tasked to look into allegations of bribery and corruption against some officials of the Ghana Football Association.
In Mission tonight, Nadoli Kalio, District of Upper West Region, embrace need to educate the girl child.
This evening, one of Nigeria's top reggae musicians, Ukelele Omobia, popularly known as Raskimono, noted for his hit song Under Pressure, has died aged 60.
In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un arrived in Singapore for their historic summit.
Well, all these and more stories coming up in the next 60 minutes, including sports and entertainment. Don't forget that you could always get interactive with us via social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Let's do our first story. And President Akufo-Addo has disclosed that feasibility studies on the defunct Aboso glass and Bonsat tire factories in the western region are almost complete. He indicated that as part of his government's industrialization agenda, the two factories will be revamped.
Addressing traditional leaders of Wasafiase in the western region on a tour, President Akufo-Addo maintained his government remains committed to its agenda of industrializing the country. He noted the resuscitation of the defunct Aboso glass and Bonsata factories will therefore be critical in that regard. The president explained Ghana cannot, for example, continue to export all of its rubber and lose the immense financial benefit when the Bonsa tire factory can't process it.
Bonsa tires and Aboso glass factory. Feasibility studies are almost complete. Now rubber a war western region. Papa. Now we continue to be raw material exporters. Then also there. Makumanya hoda walkra until here say now the feasibility studies so the woman be catch the betuga na mosuma yetumi aboabo nipa no ebetumi aye sa two factories.
The Mahin of Mpoho, Osaberema Kwao Enti II, who spoke on behalf of the traditional leaders of Wasa Fiase and Mpoho, bemoaned the state of affairs in mining communities in the country. He said even though mining communities contribute immensely to the economy, they do not benefit in terms of revenue.
If resources are, you do Bogana whole bra. No do nara, enough fee.
When you take gold, we produce about 60%. When you look at what we produce in Takwa here, it is more than what other countries are doing. But look at our roads, they are in a very poor state. So we asked the president to fix the roads for us.
President Akufo-Addo assured the traditional leaders plans are underway to transform mining communities.
And residents of Abuo Boso in the Amansia West District of the Ashanti region have vowed to resist any attempt to mine in the Odan Forest Reserve. The youth in the area say they will risk their lives to protect the natural reserve, which has been untouched for centuries. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
The Operation Vanguard team on Monday, May 4, arrested 6 Chinese nationals who were engaged in illegal mining in the Oda Forest Reserve. The team confiscated 6 excavators and set ablaze 2 generator sets, 3 cylinders and other mining equipment. The operation followed a tip-off on the illegal invasion of the forest reserve. Some youth in the area who were unhappy with the destruction of the forest reserve alleged some Ghanaians fronted for the Chinese about 2 weeks ago with documents to reclaim some pits, but ended up cutting down trees to mine in the forest. A resident, Ajiman Prempe, said most residents in the community were deceived into believing that work in the forest was sanctioned by government.
Chiefs and the assemblyman came to make an announcement that the work is from the government. So if any person should be caught trying to prevent them from entering the forest, they will arrest you, and they put fear in the Aboso people.
The government should take a critical look at what is going on and address the issue. We will not agree with their decision. The destruction of the forest and foodstuffs are unbearable, so government should provide some security for us.
A consultant of the Food and Agriculture Organization has attributed unregulated aquaculture practices and bad agricultural practices as the consequences of high rates of malnutrition, poverty and food insecurity. These were the decisions of the 5-day National Action Strategy and Action Plan workshop, which has opened in Accra.
The formulation of a national strategy and action plan for compliance with the 2009 FAO agreement on state measures to prevent, deter and eliminate illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing is aimed at building capacity and synergy for enforcement. Fish is an important source of food security and nutrition for Ghanaians. An average per capita consumption is estimated between 23 and 25 kilograms per year, and as many as 10% of the population is directly dependent on the fisheries sector for their livelihoods. On the scores of these and other factors, any obstacle that hinders the development of the sector, including unreported and unregulated fishing, undermines progress on the UN SDGs.
West Africa is a region that is very hard hit by IUU fishing activities. So it is important to address the IUU fishing activities in these waters. And one way of doing that is to close the ports to IUU fishing operators.
Ghana has therefore instituted measures to combat unreported and unregulated fishing, including vessel monitoring system and observer program on vessels. Ghana has also acceded as party to the agreement on port state measures, indicating government commitment and determination to combat unregulated and unreported fishing.
An improved performance of the fisheries and aquaculture sector in Ghana is therefore strategic and consequential for the achievement of sustainable development goals. Combating IUU fishing requires a strong political commitment, political will, and action.
Deputy Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Francis Kingsley Atufosin, expressed concern at the unregulated fishing methods being practiced in Ghanaian waters.
The objective of Ghana's National Plan of Action against IUU is to lay out a plan of action that identifies existing gaps in relation to combating IUU fishing and to propose remedial steps to address these gaps.
Participants drawn from civil society groups, security agencies, the fisheries sector and other relevant organizations are being exposed to legal framework and relevant mechanisms to fight illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing in Ghana.
Lepers in the Baku West District of the Upper East region are calling on the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection to consider ruling them on the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program for survival. The lepers have been abandoned and are struggling to be fed. Here is Eva Atiboka's report.
Meet Azuma, Ayimpoka and Asitanga, afflicted with leprosy in an area where poverty is endemic. Each passing day is a struggle. In their condition, Life is unbearable. Food on the table is by dint of luck. They would have been needing family support, but they have been abandoned. 72-year-old Amisang Azuma contracted the disease in the 90s. His wife left him a few years after his condition was diagnosed. To make matters worse for the 72-year-old, his 3 children, who would have shown him love and care, have all passed on. In this house, he now lives alone with his little cat as his companion. He does all the house chores all by himself, including fetching water and cooking. Ayimpoka and Asitanga are suffering the same fate. The Livelihood Empowerment Program, LEAP, would have been of immense help, but it is yet to trickle down to them. Richard Adongo is director of the Social Welfare Department in Boku West.
A district-wide registration of people with disabilities. In all, 3,445 people were covered. This particular group of people, out of the 36, only 2 have been supported. There are many, but how to actually get them out to register to benefit from any package from the government is actually a challenge, just because of stigmatization.
The 3 are calling on authorities to enroll them onto the LEAP program.
It's now the duty of the department to get closer or get in touch with the rest to see how best they can be supported, because there's money allocated for them.
Right, let's do some more stories right now. The absence of the school feeding program in some schools in the northern region is hampering teaching and learning. Eva Atiboka reports out of 87 primary and kindergarten schools in the West Mamprusi district, only 15 are on the school feeding program.
Tuesday morning at Selenga, Adams and Baumia are ready for school. Roasted granite was their breakfast. What will be for lunch is not guaranteed. Their school is not a beneficiary of the school feeding program. In some schools, from kindergarten through to primary 6, pupils are served lunch under the school feeding program. However, their counterparts in other schools stay unfed till closing hours. In West Mamprusi, there are 81 kindergarten and 87 primary schools in the district. Out of the number, 15 schools are on the school feeding program. District Education Director Haja Misa Sulemana hinted 15 more schools have been enrolled, but cooking is yet to start. At Guabulga, before 12 noon, many of these peoples were already hungry. These mango trees remained their best option for lunch. They compete for the unripe Isedek mangoes. Off camera, teachers told the news team mostly some pupils during break go in search of walnuts to sustain themselves till school closes. The district education director, Hajia Misa Sulemana, explained enrollment and attendance is already high in Guabulga, adding that the school is benefiting from other intervention. Brave Aurora, a community-based NGO working to bring education at par with others, is considering feeding the people.
Our development model, we feel that poverty has different contours and it affects various aspects of their life. So we also use a multi-pronged approach in dealing with poverty. So we realize that it is not enough to just provide them with the decks, but it's also good that kids come to school on full stomachs. That is why we have made it a model to roll out the livelihood promotion program.
NEWS360 is live from the News Hub here in Accra. And ahead of government's One Village, One Dam project, residents of the 3 regions of the north are demanding dams with good depth and high water holding capacity. The residents are asking the project engineers to carry out excellent feasibility and mapping of the areas for the dams. Ibatiboka sent in this report.
Dams all over, yet from January through to May, there has been no water. In some communities in the Upper East and Northern regions, this is the state of the dams. Although a few have water in them, many have dried up. Most have silted up and now have low water retention capacity. The situation is marred by a low water table in the area, according to experts. At Suotuya, this dam, constructed in 2002 to serve the community with water, is non-functional. Residents say it has not been desilted since. Hasmin Mohammed is DCE for the area.
Most of the dams you see are very old. So if we are able to make a very good dams for the communities, I think it can solve the water problem, even though the topography of the area is one of a hard one.
At Go also, the Go Dam, constructed in 2016, totally dried up.
Getting water to drink is even a challenge during the dry season. We want dams that are very deep so we could get water all year round.
If human beings can get water, you're not talking about animals. Now how can we talk about crops? A lot of cash in here. Contractor is paid, he's gone with it. And they're stuck with it. That they have a dugout. No water, nothing. And this is the time that the rainy season, they didn't build this, they didn't dig this in for the rainy season. In 5-6 years, if this is like this, you know what's going to happen. You don't even have a dugout.
The story remains same in many other places, leaving both humans and animals stranded. Under the government's One Village, One Dam project, the residents are demanding dams with improved depths for better water retention. Dr. Pascal Attendem suggests ways of water retention in the dams to be constructed.
When Burkina Faso wanted to construct Bagri Dam, Ghana was up in arms, shouting that it would affect the water flow to us. They went ahead and constructed the dam. Then they tell us when they are releasing the water. And we wait till that water, which is a resource when harnessed, becomes a problem because we wait and then it floods and destroys farms.
Now let's go to some interesting story which is happening in Parliament. And the minority caucus in Parliament say they will be unable to participate in the registration exercise for national identification cards slated for tomorrow, June 11, at Parliament House. A press release signed by Minority Leader and Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, cited some reasons, including significant questions about the cost, scope, and legality of the project, as well as registration requirements. According to the statement, the leadership of the National Identification Authority has been less than candid with the people of Ghana on the total cost of the project, adding, despite the provision of government support by the Akufo-Addo government in respect of revenue projections for the project, this has not been brought to Parliament for approval in accordance with the law. The minority caucus in Parliament said it remains opposed to the restriction of identification requirements for registration to passport and birth certificate, as this will prevent about 23 million Ghanaians from obtaining Ghana card and deprive them of any benefit thereof. Right, so we'd like to delve a little bit into this issue and speak to Mutaka Mubarak. He's a minority chief whip in Parliament. Good evening, Alhaji, and thank you for joining us.
Well, good evening to you and your listeners, my brother.
Right, you have raised questions about the cost, scope, and legality of the project, but would you be able to break them down for our understanding?
Well, like you rightly said, and you saw our statement. First, the challenge we have is that on 2 occasions, the National Identification Authority had not been able to appear before the House. I don't want to say they refused, because we sent them invitation that Parliament wanted to interact with them about the process, about the costing and all the other issues. And the last 2 weeks, just at the nick of time, they called us, they said they were not able to come. So they were pleading that we should schedule for last week. We agreed and scheduled for last week. All of a sudden, last week, Thursday, they came again that unfortunately they are not able to come to meet members of parliament, but they will be willing to do it on Tuesday. Suddenly, we heard after Friday we closed that tomorrow they are starting the recession in parliament. And this is shocking to us. For 2 weeks, we cannot find time to come and meet parliamentarians to ask the relevant issues concerning the whole process. Because, my brother, as we may see in our statement, that they are talking about 1.2 billion. We have document that shows that they are talking about 1.4 billion. We have document that shows that they have given sovereign guarantee. We have document that shows that they are dealing with an international company. All this requires that they come before Parliament. And we wanted to get this clarification from them. Yet they've gone ahead to start the process without coming to see Parliament. And now, I mean, to mock us, they are bringing it to our doorsteps so that you get us registered. So when we are talking about why have they not appeared before Parliament, they say, but you've also registered. We are not going to be part of that exercise. And that's why Friday, when we had this, I mean, we've been struggling to talk to our colleagues on the majority. I spoke to my colleague on the majority chief whip, and he said that, well, we need to get in charge with majority leader. All of us have been trying to get majority leader. But today is Sunday, and our fear is that if we do not issue the statement to tell our members not to participate, tomorrow morning may be too late. But believe me, on Tuesday, we are coming up with a, full-blown press conference to raise all the issues that will have raised if they had appeared before us, which they are refusing to do. That's what has necessitated this. And also, how many Ghanaians have birth cert and passport? Because they're not talking about the old type of birth cert. They're talking about the digital birth cert. How many? And passports. How many Ghanaians have this? And this is an issue that we wanted them to come so that we can resolve. And they are not coming. They kickstart the process. And I don't think that is fair to the representative of the people. When you are inviting you, we keep giving excuses, but yet you can have the time to start rolling out the program.
Yes, Honorable Mutaka, just before you go, have you been able to engage the leadership of the NIA as to why they are unable to meet you?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And the sad thing is that even in all this, it's not that they come to tell us that, we are not able to come and do the presentation, so please, we are pleading for it. They call to tell. They call to tell. So most of the time, is our colleagues in the majority say, I had a call, they said, and I thought that was not respectful to the representative of the people. They needed to appear before us. That is paramount, because that will pave way for us to understand exactly what they are doing, what is the implication on the state, and we'll be able to then educate our constituents. Remember, the 275 of us represent every part of this country. So if we ourselves don't understand what you are doing, and then you started rolling out, we heard that they were at the Flagstaff House or Jubilee House, and tomorrow they are talking about the whole of next week they are going to be in Parliament. As if nothing, there are no concerns. And we believe that there are concerns. They should suspend the process. They should come appear before us. Let us raise all the fundamental issues about the birth cert, the passport. How can someone hold a voter ID card and say that that cannot be basis to identify him as a Ghanaian? How can you have other things? Your SNID card, your other relevant documents, you say that cannot be used as a basis unless passport and birth cert. These are not documents that people use very frequently. And the costing, the procurement process. How did you arrive at that huge figure? Why were they sovereign guarantee? And all that. You needed to clear this before you move ahead. But they are not willing to do all that, but they are just expecting to roll the process. And that's why we are doing this.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mutaka Mubarak is the Minority Chief Whip in Parliament.
Well, let's move away from that and do something regarding a crop in Ghana that is widely consumed, and we're talking about corn. And did you know that eating corn-based food with the right method of preparation, according to experts, can reduce the risk of cancer, physical deformity, and mental-related diseases? Now, did you also know that soaking and cooking corn in an alkaline solution or lime water prevents miscarriage and increases life expectancy? Well, this is the case with a simple technology from Mexico, the home of corn.
The life expectancy rate of Ghana dropped from 64.22 years in 2011 to 61.49 years in 2018, while that of Kenya has appreciated from 59.53 years to 61.13 years within the same period. Life expectancy in Mexico within the period under review maintained a steady rise from 76.12 years to 76.92 years. The difference in life expectancy rate in the three countries, according to experts from Mexico, is as a result of how corn is treated and processed. Aflatoxin, a bacteria associated with corn and grains, reduces the quality, quantity and nutritional level of corn. Kenya overtook Ghana in life expectancy according to Mexican experts, following the adoption of Mexican traditional nixtamalization technology for food processing. Nixtamalization typically refers to a process for the preparation of maize or other grains in which the corn is soaked and cooked in an alkaline solution or lime water washed before grinding.
That is the reason it's an opportunity for them to put a small business. They can sell food, and the investment for do that is very lower.
Ghana has the opportunity to limit the negative effect of aflatoxin in corn-based foods following a drive by experts from Mexico and the University of Development Studies, Tamale. The project will develop technologies for the production of safe, quality food. It will focus on the entire value-added chain of maize-based food in Ghana through innovation in the development of food products and technology transfer.
And the idea is to help the Ghanaian agricultural sector and industry to avoid in the process of corn to have aflatoxins and to avoid the disease that it comes with it.
The project will again help improve the suitability of Ghana's maize varieties, the physical, chemical, sensory and nutritional properties.
This process allows as well to maintain in the product all the vitamins and all the components that the corn in its natural way has, and that allows people to have a very healthy growth and to avoid problems of health.
The project is a collaboration between the Embassy of Mexico in Ghana and the University of Development Studies to increase social protection, health, science, technology and innovation, economic, commercial and labor issues. Ghana currently produces 2 million metric tons of maize compared to 25 million metric tons by Mexico.
Maybe it would be good to also find out what Ghanaian researchers and scientists have been able to do for us at the CSIR. We'll find out that soon. Now, the La Nkwantana Medina Municipal Assembly has extended electricity to the old slum area of the Medina Redco Flats. This is despite contention from interested parties claiming ownership over the piece of land. The Municipal Coordinating Director, Charles Ashalejani, said the extension of electricity is to provide security in the area and ward off criminals.
It all started with a demolition exercise to evict squatters off the parcel of land located in the old slum area of Medina Redco Flats. This was followed by a mop-up exercise to completely move the squatters amid several parties laying claims of ownership on the land. On Sunday, when TV3 visited the area, the hitherto congested slum area looked empty and completely bare, except for a mosque, church and a police barracks, which were spared in the demolition exercise. Electricians were busily mounting and fixing light poles. Municipal Coordinating Director of La Nkwantana Medina Municipal Assembly, Charles Ashalejani, explained the fixing of streetlights in the area is to ward off criminals.
We are going to do from one electoral area to another electoral area, and we make sure that the lorry parks and the markets are also brightened. That's why we make sure that we have to bring light to this particular area.
He added persons claiming ownership of lands in the area will have to show proof.
We came in because of the social misfit that has been reported to us. Anything that will cause dissatisfaction to the citizen within the municipality is our concern. After we have identified the true owners through the court system, we are going to search the person for allowing their land to be misused.
It will be recalled the old slum area of Medina Redco Flats was a hub for sex workers and other criminal activities until the Regional Security Council demolished the slum a month ago.
Well, you're still watching News 360 live from the News Hub at Adesanwe in Accra. We'll be right back with Mission after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission. It's supported by Star Ghana with funding from Dade, the UK Aid and the European Union. And tonight on Mission, the Nadoli-Kaleo district of the Upper West region has embraced the need to educate the girl child. A model JHS school for girls has been set up at Sankana. Illegal mining activities have resulted in girls being impregnated by these miners, while parents lose interest in sending the girl child to school. Brightsana Amfo reports 35 girls have now started Form 1.
Getting the girl child educated is a challenge. Several of them will start primary 1 but will drop out. Several reasons account for this.
From the cultural perspective, where the parents thought that the girl was not very much useful on the farm, and so the easiest way was to get married, and they take their dowry, and I think that was the essence of the female child. But I think times are changing, and the focus is now on not the parents as say, but with the girls themselves. When they reach puberty or adolescent age, it's very difficult for the parents to even tame them.
In the Nadoli-Kaleo district, illegal mining is a problem.
Most parts of my districts have been identified as places where we have gold within, and so with the onset of the mining, some form of mining in the district, it is encouraging the young men to do the galamsey bits around here. And when they come back with their small monies and motorbikes and phones and funny dressing, they're able to lure these young girls who are very vulnerable, and then before they realize there's a pregnancy here and there, and that then it discourages them and they drop out of school.
The girls outnumber boys at the primary level but end up dropping out. Parents have not been helpful either in getting the girl child to go to school.
We're experiencing a lot of teenage pregnancy because the minors are around and they use their money to attract them.
These reasons are retarding progress in educating the girl child in the Nadoli-Kaleo district.
How do we mine them? How do we do it? Then why are you not mentioning it? So manganese is also another mineral that we mine.
The district assembly is working at reversing this. A model junior high school for girls is expected to reverse the situation. 35 girls have started Form 1.
Our only challenge is the road network. It is something that deprives the girls from going long distances or even going through the water. You can imagine a girl who is in her menstrual cycle going through water, but then she gets everything is out there, and those are things that discourages the girls from going further.
These girls are being given attention to ensure they enroll and stay in school. The Sankana community is lending full support to this project. District authorities say keeping the girls to the complete junior high school 3 is a priority, and so a boarding system is being thought of.
We have the plans of keeping them in a boarding facility. If you can look around, we have a number of structures here, but the only problem we will have is how to manage the boarding facility with regard to the finances. For the structures, the community have provided us with structures, and they are willing to add more onto it. But we have the huge task of how to manage their feeding and all that. But if you're able to do it, it will go a long way to help the girls, so that we see that this first stream of, this is junior high school 1 that we have started. By the time it gets to junior high school 3, if they are all in boarding, then we'll measure their results against those in the mainstream school and see whether it is achieving some impacts. And I'm sure that we'll achieve some results, so that maybe in the future we could think about a senior high school, girls' school for the districts as well.
The pupils are excited and believe this is an opportunity to excel.
When you finish GSS 3, what would you want to do?
I would like to be a nurse.
So tell me why you like to be a nurse.
Whenever I saw anybody wearing a nurse uniform, I always feel happy. So that's why I want to be a nurse. When they are teaching, I always listen, making anything that I can do and hear what they are saying to me. So I always be comfortable to what they are teaching me.
An old structure is expected to be rehabilitated to convert the new school into a boarding house. This is to ensure they have ample time to learn compared to when they are made to do house chores on getting home from school.
The idea of getting these girls to come to school and stay is to ensure that a girl child in the Nadoli-Kalio district gets the same opportunity as the boy child. 35 of them have just started junior high school 1. They're expected to progress to junior high school 2 and 3, and the hope is that at the basic education certificate level, these girls will perform and perform well. This is expected to improve education in the district. Bright Nananfo, TV3, Sankana.
Akacham, put them down.
Definitely a beautiful sight there to see girls having an education. Let's move over and do some more stories where some months ago, the residents of Akolio and teachers were dreaming about a new school for the community. After missions visited the school in January 2017, a new school is almost ready. Brighton Nananfo reports the assembly has promised to add more amenities to make teaching and learning conducive.
This was the excitement of the community when the mission team visited Akolio, knowing that the advocacy for a new school building will receive support. Akolio's school was in poor state. Classrooms were uncomfortable. Kindergarten kids sat under trees. This was a challenge beyond the community. They had tried to help their children by putting up this mud structure, but meager incomes prevented them from completing the project. The mission team visited Akolio in October 2017 and saw the poor nature of classrooms.
During rainy season, we can't even have classes. You have to go in and combine with their seniors. That's class 3 or class 4.
The advocacy started with the Education Directorate and the District Assembly to get a new school.
We are challenged. The number of classes keep dwindling as compared to the increasing number of children in our schools. And even though politicians will easily like to target as schools under trees or trees under schools, what they may term it to be, I think we have so many classes under trees.
District authorities took up the challenge, and then the action started with a push by the mission team. The assembly broke the ground for the construction of a new school building in February 2018. May 2018, a new structure beautifully decorates the community. Akolio has for the first time seen a new building for education. The 3-unit classroom block is almost completed. The contractor has worked within the time period for the project. This will improve teaching and learning, and teachers are already excited.
For now that the project is not completed, anytime there is rain or windstorm, my children will always run inside and use it. So I'm very happy for the project.
The Assembly has fulfilled the promise they made in October 2017.
I'm not happy because the classroom has been put. It's my responsibility to ensure that we put classroom blocks all over the district for people. But the people of Akuluyo are particularly happy, and they remain happy to this government because we promised them, and about 3 months ago we cut short to construct this classroom. Today we have come within 3 months. You see, the project is almost 85% complete. I believe that any moment from now, the contractor will finish up and the children can begin to use it.
The new school will need a lot more facilities. This is the request of teachers.
Teachers would have been loved to always stay around and come to school early more than they always do. But because of there is no water and electricity, they prefer staying at the town campus. So we'll be very happy if the government can help us provide water closer to the school and even give us electricity, bulk quarters for the teachers.
The Assembly says it is ready to provide more for the new school.
We intend to drill a borehole here so the children would be able to have access to water. They don't need to now travel far distances to be able to get water. So we'll put water here too for them. It is part of our plans. Electricity, as you can see, this community is an isolated community. It's very, very far from the rest of the communities. So we have 5 communities that will be connected to the national grid. And this community is part of those communities.
Akuluyo is happy a dream has come through. The mission team is fulfilled and advocacy has yielded results. The commitment is to see improved education in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. Bright Nananfo, TV3.
Well, that's it for Mission this evening. It's supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Thierry Nyan is standing by with some sports action after this Tuesday. And now to some international news. U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un have arrived in Singapore for their historic summit. Mr. Trump flew in aboard Air Force One a few hours after Mr. Kim touched down with his entourage. The two men are staying in separate hotels not far from each other and are preparing for Tuesday's meeting on the resort island of Sentosa. Mr. Kim told Singapore's PM the entire world is watching. Mr. Trump has called it a one-time shot at peace. The U.S. hopes the summit will kickstart a process that eventually sees Mr. Kim give up nuclear weapons. The two leaders have had an extraordinary up-and-down relationship over the past 18 months, trading insults and threatening war before abruptly changing track and moving towards a face-to-face meeting.
Entertainment news tonight. Top Nigerian reggae musician UK Leke Onwuba, popularly known as Raskimono, has died. Released in 1989, the Nigerian reggae artist's debut album, Under Pressure, was a big hit across the continent. Raskimono passed away on Sunday in a Lagos hospital after a short illness. So, as we've been telling you tonight, Nigerian reggae musician Raskimono has died. And the singer released his first album in 1989, and the album was titled Under Pressure and was a big hit across the African continent. Raskimono passed away on Sunday in the Lagos hospital after a short illness. Well, it looks as if we're unable to bring you the video of Raskimono, but I'm sure in subsequent news and entertainment programs we should be able to. So let's see what Raskimono has been doing.
Under pressure, we will. Under pressure. Under pressure, black people. Under pressure. Under pressure, Nigerians. Under pressure.
Born Okeleke Elumelu, Raskimono dominated the music industry in Nigeria in the late 80s.
Under pressure, Africans. Under pressure. No food, we belly. No money in our pocket. No bed, we ate. The people, they must suffer in a ghetto.
Under Pressure, his debut album, catapulted him into stardom. Among the hits in that album were Natty Get Jail and Rumba Style. Later admitted that his sojourn in the US had a negative impact on his music career. Chairman of the Copyright Society of Nigeria, Tony Okoroji, confirmed the news, noting he had visited the legendary reggae musician in the hospital. His style of music was significantly influenced by the hardship he experienced in his early life. He died at age 60.
Some are weeping, some are wailing, everywhere down we go. Under pressure we will, under pressure.
Still in music, celebrated Nigerian musician Wizkid and Ghanaian hitmaker Shatta Wale smoked the peace pipe in November 2017. Shatta Wale jabbed Wizkid, noting he does not consider Wizkid a superstar, as there's nothing extraordinary about him. The comment sparked a feud between the two. Owusu-Rai, however, reports Wizkid surprised patrons of the 2018 Ghana Meets Niger concert, inviting and reuniting with Shatta on stage.
Came to an end, and one of the VIPs who graced the show was the minister in charge of creative arts, culture and tourism, Mrs. Catherine Afeku, and we want to find out how it feels to have witnessed Ghana Meets Niger 28.
I think it's splendid. It's a testimony of what we can do with creative arts. It was beautiful, and I loved it.
And Wizkid made one profound statement that we are together, Ghana and Nigeria, we have to join energy and forces together.
It's true. Hence, bringing AFRIMA, All Africa Music Awards, because Africa is one, Africa is music, and we're going to turn it up in November. I had to come and show solidarity for the sons and daughters of Africa. We also had Sierra Leoneans perform, but we're going to take it to the next level of doing Africa in November, so watch out.
Right, so many acts performing, but who was a surprise act for tonight?
For me, it was Shatta.
Shatta Wale, yes. But we saw Patapatu.
Oh, I loved him, but we knew he was coming. Shatta was not billed. My favorite was Stoneboy, but the surprise was Shatta.
All right, so that was the sector minister there. But let's go back to the earlier story where celebrated Nigerian musician Wizkid and Ghanaian hitmaker Shatta Wale smoked the peace pipe. The two have been feuding since November 2017.
Angered by the developments, some Nigerians took to social media to rant. To them, Wizkid is incomparable. It, however, came to patrons of the 2018 Ghana Meets Niger concert as a surprise when Wizkid invited Shatta Wale to join him on stage.
I have my brother with me in the house tonight.
Shatta Wale applauded the move.
Let me tell you something. They always say Shatta Wale can't do this. But I want you to know that today has to see with Steve Wale. We're getting my fucking blood. That's my fucking blood. If I say we're seeing the superstar, then Shatta Wale do the fucking superstar. Oh,
unity is key if African music and musicians are to make inroads on the world stage.
Together we push. One Africa, one love. Big shout out to Shalawale, one love to Shalawale. One love to Ghana, one love to Nigeria. Africans in the world, man.
Shout out Wale, ever the showman. It's a good thing they smoked the peace by
Shut up
2
for
weeks.
life.
Well, that's it for News 360 tonight. My name is Solace Rose Corte.
My name is Issa Moni. Thanks for watching, and there will be more updates on 3news.com.